Hi, I'm Dr. Maggie Perry with the Tell Me What You're Proud of podcast. In this podcast mini-series, we're discussing the core principles for overcoming anxiety and OCD. Today, we're discussing how to embrace uncertainty. Intolerance of uncertainty is the tendency to react negatively on an emotional, cognitive, and behavioral level to uncertain situations and events. Beliefs that uncertainty means something bad and that you shouldn't feel uncertain make uncertainty more intolerable and more likely to become a problem. You might fear becoming uncertain. Fearful anticipation of uncertainty often leads to avoidance, and you might avoid anything that could make you feel uncertain. You might feel paralyzed when you feel uncertain, and your inhibitory anxiety in the face of uncertainty can often lead to difficulty thinking, talking, making decisions, and taking action. When you're feeling very anxious, it's normal to attend to your sensations, uncomfortable feelings, and catastrophic thoughts over everything else. You are not being selfish or at risk of insanity. The nature of the anxious response is such that your mind fixates on your attention on a potential threat in order to help you survive. Some part of you knows that you aren't running from a tiger and that it would be okay to stop scanning the environment for danger. Another part of you does not know whether or not you're in danger. That part of you is uncertain. It's okay. You're not doing it on purpose. It isn't your fault that it's happening, and you aren't doomed to feel this way forever. When you avoid your experience of uncertainty on an emotional, cognitive, or behavioral level, you make uncertainty more likely and it becomes its own problem. Instead, strive to identify your experience of uncertainty, allow it, and even embrace it as an opportunity. Here's some helpful self-talk that can help you accept and embrace uncertainty. You might say, it's okay to feel uncertain. Feeling uncertainty doesn't mean I've done something wrong. And anticipatory anxiety is a feeling, not a fact or prediction. That is, it's an indication of what happened in my past, not a prediction of my future. Uncertainty doesn't mean something bad is going to happen. Uncertainty signals opportunity. I don't know if something will go poorly, but I also don't know what could go well. It's okay for me to take the smallest next step in the presence of uncertainty. Here are some behavioral strategies that reduce intolerance of uncertainty. Commit to valued behavior to reduce indecisiveness. Practice guessing at the smallest next step. Live in your decision, including taking responsibility for the consequences of those decisions. Bring up an attitude of curiosity so you can learn from the consequences of your decisions and alter your future decisions. This type of learning prevents paralyzing self-criticism and eventually allows you to relax into uncertainty. There's nothing certain about life. We're all in a constant state of uncertainty. We don't feel intolerant of that uncertainty in every domain of life. Thus, the uncertain parts of life that give you anxiety and the urge to avoid provide a roadmap to your core fears. Rather than beating yourself up about those fears, seek to understand them so you can create a strategic plan to overcome them. A strategy is a plan of action designed to achieve a major aim. Cognitive behavioral therapy has the reputation of teaching coping skills that help people reduce their anxiety. It's true that if you use the skills to learn to relate to your anxiety effectively, those skills will reduce your anxiety. The skills themselves won't give you what you want, though, a life with less anxiety and less psychological suffering. Think about this in comparison to basketball. The skills themselves, dribbling, shooting, and passing, don't win games. The skills are necessary, but they are not sufficient to win the games. Winning the games requires strategy. It requires offensive and defensive plays, flexible coordination of those plays, depending on contextual factors like who's in the game on each team. Anxiety treatment includes skills, identifying and accepting sensations and feelings, diffusing from and challenging unhelpful thoughts, and choosing value-based behaviors, but it also needs a strategy. You need to identify the process that maintains your suffering and then develop a strategy for changing it. Compulsions, reassurance seeking, safety behaviors, and avoidances are all behaviors that maintain anxiety disorders. Rather than evidence of weakness or limitation, it's really an incredible process. I have nothing but the utmost respect for what your mind comes up with to try to alleviate your suffering. I strongly believe that you should respect your mind too. In fact, I think the only way to alleviate your suffering in the long term is to befriend your own mind. Watch it, listen to it, and learn to work with it compassionately. An anxious moment is an opportunity for confidence, and escaping it undermines your potential for confidence. I mean it when I say that uncertainty is an opportunity. When you feel uncertain about whether you have a disease, it probably doesn't feel like an opportunity. Fearing that you'll panic in front of people you like probably also doesn't feel like an opportunity. Same with worrying all night rather than sleeping. Not an opportunity. I understand, but I disagree with you. When you're relating effectively to yourself in the middle of the night while you're stuck on a random intrusion, you will know it. It's a private confidence that only you share with yourself. Once you have that confidence, you can do anything. That's why your anxiety disorder is a gift. Because you have to practice observing yourself, developing a strategy for how you're going to relate to yourself, and experimenting compassionately with yourself in smaller moments, you have the chance to develop a much deeper confidence in yourself that you can carry with you at all other times in your life. If you expose yourself to anxiety, but then you check or get reassurance, you undermine your chance at self-confidence. The habit of undermining yourself leads to doubts, self-criticism, and uncertainty. Doubts, criticism, and uncertainty narrow your thinking. When your thinking is narrow, your awareness of opportunities available to you is limited. So avoidance narrows your thinking, limits your opportunities, and undermines your potential. Don't just refrain from avoidance because your psychologist told you it makes your anxiety worse. Stop avoiding so that you can develop the internal resources needed to reach your potential. Practice patiently and compassionately with yourself so you can have the chance to see who you can become. It's okay if you forget your strategy and avoid anyway sometimes. Meet yourself where you are. That's the moment of your opportunity. When you engage in avoidance behaviors, try thinking, my mind works perfectly. What can I do right now that would give me more self-confidence rather than fear? Your anxious moment is your opportunity for greater confidence.